United States President Donald Trump has announced steep tariffs on over a dozen nations as he intensifies his pressure campaign aimed at extracting concessions on trade. In his latest move on Monday, Trump threatened 14 countries, including key U.S. allies such as Japan and South Korea, with tariffs ranging between 25 and 40% starting August 1st, unless they boost imports of U.S. goods and move more manufacturing to American soil. In nearly identical letters addressed to each country's leader, Trump declared that the U.S. had decided to move forward, but emphasized it would be only with more balanced and fair trade. Trump cautioned that any retaliatory duties would trigger even steeper tariffs, though he left room for exemptions for countries that ease their trade restrictions. If you wish to open your heretofore closed trading markets to the United States, eliminate your tariff and policies and trade barriers, we will, perhaps, consider an adjustment to this letter, Trump wrote in the letters, using capital letters to stress certain terms. These tariffs may be modified, upward or downward, depending on our relationship with your country, he said. If they call up and they say we'd like to do something a different way, we're going to be open to that, Trump added. The harshest tariffs are aimed at Laos and Myanmar, both facing a 40% duty. Meanwhile, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, and Tunisia are looking at the lowest rate of 25%. Cambodia and Thailand are subject to a 36% tariff, Serbia and Bangladesh to 35%, and South Africa along with Bosnia and Herzegovina face a 30% duty. Exports from Indonesia will be taxed at 32%. All 14 countries, many of them heavily reliant on exports, were previously subject to a baseline tariff of 10%. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba described the new tariff as truly regrettable, but confirmed that Japan would continue talks to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. South Korea's Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy said it would accelerate negotiations to reach a mutually beneficial negotiation result so as to swiftly address uncertainties stemming from tariffs before the August 1st deadline. Lawrence Loh, Director of the Center for Governance and Sustainability at the National University of Singapore Business School, said that Asian countries struggle to present a united stance against Trump's pressure due to differing trade profiles and geopolitical priorities. It is not possible for these countries, even for a formal pact like ASEAN, to act in coordinated manners. It's likely to be to each country on its own. That's the trump card for Trump, Loh told Al Jazeera. Loh noted that regional nations will likely feel compelled to make concessions to avoid economic repercussions. For Asian countries, the cost of not giving concessions will probably be greater than cooperating with the U.S., he said. For smaller nations with limited bargaining power, retaliation isn't even an option. While the Trump administration has increased pressure to secure deals and avoid steeper tariffs, only 3 nations, China, Vietnam, and the United Kingdom, have thus far announced agreements aimed at reducing trade tensions. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent hinted earlier Monday that several agreements could be announced within the next 48 hours, though he didn't specify which nations might be involved or what the deals would contain. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that more letters would be sent this week and added the administration was close to finalizing deals with additional countries. Calvin Chang, Director of Economics and Trade at the Institute of Strategic and International Studies, ISIS, in Kuala Lumpur, said that while U.S. trade partners are likely eager to negotiate relief from the tariffs, many may already be bracing for prolonged higher duties on their exports. In my view, many will likely be under greater pressure to deploy every available institutional and political lever to address legitimate U.S. trade concerns, particularly around tightening rules of origin and legitimate IP, intellectual property, concerns, Chang told Al Jazeera. But there's also an awareness that these tariffs may be more permanent than first assumed, prompting governments to make targeted accommodations while prepping local exporters for a future in which a large portion of these tariffs remain, he said. My personal belief is that much of the current tariff level is stickier than initially believed, Chang added. Future trade concessions might only bring minor reductions, possibly just single-digit percentage points off the average rate. Following Trump's latest tariff warning, the U.S. stock market dropped sharply, with the benchmark S&P 500 sliding 0.8% and the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite falling 0.9%. However, major Asian indices opened stronger on Tuesday. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index rose 0.35%, South Korea's Kospi climbed 0.73%, and Japan's Nikkei 225 edged up 0.03% as of 2:15 Greenwich Mean Time.